So to introduce today's discussion, I'm Jessica Tennant, Senior Editor of Marketing and Media at Bizcommunity.com. This is really just a chat around Standard Bank's recently launched brand repositioning. The bank announced earlier this week that it has changed its brand positioning and tagline and adopted one that epitomizes where it sees its role in Africa today. So today I'm speaking to Thulani Sibeko, Group Marketing Executive at Standard Bank. So first things first, the economy has certainly been hard hit, and the financial services sector is no exception. So tell us, Thulani, how have you found the lockdown personally, and as a business, what are some of the ways Standard Bank has responded to the pandemic?
Thank you so much, Jessica. Indeed, that's a good place to start because we cannot ignore the unusual context that we find ourselves in. The lockdown has been a huge change for me personally. Although I'm an introvert, after 3 weeks of the lockdown, I was ready to go back to the office just for the energy that people have. But in the main, have managed to adjust, and thankfully, because of our digital capabilities, I've found that I'm able to do everything that I could do at the office to be able to do it at home. So that's a privilege and grateful position that one is in. And the sense from our colleagues also is that most are comfortable with the change. Of course, it took some adjustment from the initial days. And what has it meant for the organization particularly? I would use 3 lenses on how we've responded to COVID-19. There is the lens of our employees, our clients, and then our society. We have been conscious and deliberate to ensure the well-being of our employees. We started where we ought to have started, on the health basis, ensuring that they have PPEs, and where needed, we installed physical things to limit the transmission. We invoked protocols, and we're also mindful of the indirect consequence. For example, the closure of school. How does it affect parents who are working? Introduce special leave for COVID. We further used our technology to ensure that at any point in time, we know where our people are, and if people get infected, who is in self-quarantine and so forth. So we have been so focused on ensuring the well-being of our employees. And coming to our clients, that has been equally of concern to us, to ensure that we continue to serve them, but beyond just continuing to serve, being alert to their new needs that reflect the new context, and our offerings had to be tilted to ensure that they respond to the present needs. For example, through our Trade Suite product, we ensured that our customers whose supply of products internationally was disrupted could have assistance from Standard Bank through our Trade Suite support, where we can connect them with vetted suppliers and help them with the logistics. For our customers who used to trade in a physical space and now there's a lockdown, we offered Simply Blue to them, which essentially takes your physical business, digitize it, you have all the e-commerce set up, and you are able to continue trading. And even for our individual customers, when it came to insurance, we had to acknowledge that in the lockdown, you don't move in your car as you normally do. And then we said, it's only fair that we give you 25% cash back for the time of the lockdown. I must say, when I received my first SMS, it feels so much different than a debit order to get an SMS for a credit from insurance. But the biggest thing that we did for our customers is payment relief. We looked at all kinds of our customers and ensured that cash flow is a critical thing to survival. most of our people live from hand to mouth, as you can appreciate. So we ensure that we brought that relief. As many either had reduced income, some had no income at all, and that came as a welcome relief. And then lastly, to society, we had to look long and hard and say, as an organization, what is our purpose? Our purpose is to drive the growth of Africa. This we do one client at a time, one community at a time, one country at a time. And at a time like this one, we asked ourselves, how can we play our part? And it was clear that we can play our part partnering with government and also partnering with NGOs to ensure that the pain, the disruption that has come with the COVID-19 is alleviated through our resources, our expertise. We partnered with organizations like Gift of the Givers, among others, to ensure that we bring societal relief. So for our employees, for our customers, and also for society, we saw a very clear role to ensure that we make life better for all these communities.
Okay. And then comment on the role of financial services and Standard Bank specifically, especially during this time. Has it changed in any way?
The role, to a large extent, has remained the same, to the extent of providing transacting facilities, providing credit, investment opportunities through asset management, and so forth. So that has largely remained the same. But the manner of delivering that has changed, not only because of COVID, but I would say COVID has accelerated some of the things. What we've seen is that by the time COVID came, we had already digitized almost 80% of services available to the branch and to the cell phone or internet. So what happened is that even with some of the customers who still preferred to go to the branch instead of going or using digital channels, now we're almost compelled, because of the physical limitations of movement and of using now they've turned to using the digital platforms. And it came at a time when we were prepared to pick up the additional capacity or requirements. So that has accelerated more than changing completely. But in the context of trade, I've alluded earlier that these types of disruptions led to challenges that people had not seen before. And we have used our expertise, our resources, just to help people get over the hill and confront and manage these new challenges.
Okay. So tell us, what is Standard Bank's new brand repositioning? And what motivates the bank to do this, and why now?
I am so excited about this new positioning, and thank you for asking and for the opportunity. Several months back, we asked ourselves whether we have a trusted brand, and our answer was resolute. Yes, we have a trusted brand. However, what we needed to confront was to say, how old is our positioning, and is it as relevant and potent as it was when it was introduced? The answer was simple. The positioning had been around for about 10 years, and in that period, the organization Standard Bank had changed. The environment around us, our clients, and also our competitors had changed. But more than that, it was clear that the client needs had also evolved. And for those reasons, we were convinced that while we are trusted, our positioning is no longer as distinctive as it ought to be. And there was an opportunity for a change. But we wouldn't change for the sake of only these reasons. The ultimate reason that we had to make a change was that we want our current customers and customers who are not with Standard Bank to reconsider Standard Bank. And it was very clear that if our current customers need to be reassured that they are with the right brand, if our non-customers need to relook at Standard Bank and say, maybe that could be my bank, we had to reposition. And that was the genesis of the repositioning. And if I may, I can take you through the journey that we took to get to the point where we
are. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The next question is actually to ask, how did you go about researching and deciding on this?
Yes, definitely.
Any interesting insights that you, gained along the way?
Yes, no, thank you so much. It was important that we don't make up stuff. Sometimes marketing and communication are accused of being wishful. So the approach that we did was deliberate and it was structured. Firstly, because we are a group that is present in more than 20 African countries, we ensured that our research is not happening in South Africa, but we chose a few other countries. And in our research, we talked to different stakeholders. We talked to our employees. Why was that important? It's obvious that our employees cannot take out to customers what they don't experience internally. They cannot take out what they don't believe themselves and are convicted about. So we spoke to employees in different countries. We also spoke to customers, our most important audience, which had the veto power on everything that we're going to do. And in doing so, we spoke to individual customers, small and large businesses, and corporates, because it was important that wherever we land should be relevant and effective across all our businesses. And of course, in that work, we started off with about 12 potential territories that we could land on. And then we whittled it down to 3. And then we conducted further validation, quantitative research. And it was out of those 3 territories that one territory emerged. But if I can summarize the biggest finding that came through, it was that our continent is full of dreamers, believers, and doers. And this prevalence of dream was consistent across all the countries that we researched, including South Africa. And with that realization, we adopted a belief that says, dreams matter. They matter because they fuel the growth of countries, the growth of societies. And if dreams matter, and if they fuel growth, we concluded that together with our clients, we have to go into unexplored territories to ensure that those dreams are realized. And as a result of that research and insights, we landed on a new brand promise. Our new brand promise is finding new ways to make dreams possible. And that is what we landed on. And you may ask, how do you find new ways to make dreams possible? I will count maybe 5 or 6 things. Firstly, we chose that we will be people focused. This includes our employees and also being obsessive about our customers. 2, we will make useful innovation. It's easy to innovate, but it's much more important to be useful in the innovation. And we had a double click that says, particularly for small and medium-sized enterprises, we will provide smart solutions because there's a huge community of small and medium enterprise communities. We will do the right business the right way. We will continue and expand partnerships. This is particularly important because if we are to find new ways to make dreams possible, we recognize that on our own, we don't have all the resources, we don't have all the new ideas, but through partnering, we can accelerate the generation of ideas using also other partners. And then the last one is the courageous spirit. Standard Bank as a group is more than 150 years. It has gone through many iterations and challenges, but it's always been about exploring and getting better, and we want to keep that courageous spirit. And to top this off, we've also changed our payoff line. Our new payoff line is "It can be." We love this payoff line for different reasons. Firstly, we said that our repositioning is about clients. Clients are human, and this payoff line reflects our belief in the human spirit. This payoff line inspires hope and belief, but more importantly, there's something that is expressed by this payoff line. When it says "it can be," what it at its core is saying is, however big or small your dream is, it can be. And why can it be? It can be because we see our role in your dreams to do either of two things. In some moments, we will inspire you to achieve your dreams. At other times, not only will we inspire you, we will enable you through our products and services for you to achieve those dreams. So we are so excited. And what was exciting also is that in this COVID environment, we were confronted with a serious dilemma. We found ourselves in a situation where our customers, our society and communities were in distress in some ways. Our people were anxious about where they found themselves. And of course, the question was, do we continue with the repositioning at a time like this one? This was a serious matter to a point where we had to get approval from the board, having debated it on many fronts, and we got approval from the board. And the reason why we got approval from the board to launch a repositioning of our brand at a time when things were not normal, if I may use that word, it was simple, is that "it can be" is especially relevant for the COVID-19 reality. At a time like this, at moments of despair, where the dreamers that we're talking about are finding all inhibitors that say your dream cannot happen. And we concluded that if we do it sensitively, if we do it in a relevant manner, actually our message is for a time such as this. And thankfully, we did it. And we're comfortable to do it because one thing that we embrace is that actions speak louder than words. So we didn't just go out and say "it can be," but I've mentioned those different products that were relevant to the COVID environment. Simply Blue, cashback on insurance, the trade suite, among others. So not only were we able to say "it can be" when you are with Standard Bank, but we're able to demonstrate to say, through the provision of these products and services, we will enable you to achieve your dreams.
Okay, and then just how do you think this message aligns with what you're setting out to achieve? You mentioned your purpose or vision earlier, but yeah, so comment on the alignment aspect.
Thank you so much, Jessica. That's a foundational question, a critical one at that. It aligns to our purpose seamlessly. In our purpose, our scope and orientation is Africa. Our goal is growth. And with that being very clear in our minds that we drive the growth of Africa, the big question about the brand relevance is the how. So when we say we will find new ways to make dreams possible, and when we say dreams matter because they fuel growth, because we believe that if her dream is realized, his dream is realized, they are growing. If they are growing, the society is growing. If the society grows, the nation grows. If nations of Africa grow, Africa will grow. So that's why we find it so foundational and very strongly linked to our purpose of driving the growth of Africa. This is particularly important that although the ultimate is Africa, the reality is experienced in the smallest unit of self and individual, and then it accumulates through communities, through countries, and then it becomes the reality for the continent.
Okay, so on that, how do you see the importance of unity during this time? I think collaboration in general has become so crucial. You were speaking about how it's looking at it collectively as a whole, looking at the bigger picture. So yeah, just if you can comment on just the importance of unity during this time.
Yes, in normal times, collaboration is important. And at times of adversity and crisis, I think it's particularly more important for different reasons. Firstly, no one has all the means to address the size of the problems we are confronting. Two, no one has all the ideas to confront this problem. And the amazing thing about this problem, as you would observe from the news and from social media, is that with time passing, the knowledge about the issue is growing. And in some cases, what we knew yesterday has become not true because there's other information. And this problem we didn't encounter at the same time. It is through collaboration and learning from those who experienced certain things before us that we are able to reach out and say, what did you learn? So that we don't pay our own school fees for the same problem that's already experienced. So collaboration is absolutely critical. Earlier, I talked about how we decided to partner with government in responding to needs of society, because we realize that government alone cannot, with the limited resources, do everything that is required. In the same way that Standard Bank, as one single corporate, cannot do this on its own. So we do partner also with other corporations. But lastly, I would say, particularly for creativity and generation of ideas, we've always believed that collaboration is particularly important in generating rich and diverse ideas. And at a time like this one, it has become particularly important that we partner with other countries, we partner with different expertise. That's another one. We are a financial services group. We are not a medical group. So there is absolutely no way on our own we could intervene competently on medical and health matters. We need the humility that says that's not our area, and touch on the expertise, but at the same time, to have the confidence of our competence and say, on matters financial, this is what we can do to address the problem together.
Okay, great. And then just, so you mentioned that, now is the time to begin a narrative of hope, belief and optimism. And the phrase, it can be, is a celebration of the human spirit, of the belief in our dreams, and that there is no better time to introduce this positive message. So in conclusion, what would you say to encourage your customers and potential customers to keep going and truly believe that whatever it means to them, that it can be?
That is super awesome, Jessica. And I will look at it through the lens of my own personal experience. Firstly, to say, during this time, it is normal to have moments of discouragement. The consistent, abnormal context can wear you out. What gives me comfort are following things. Firstly, in the human race history, we are not the first and only ones to go through something like this. We are here because of the resilience of the human spirit, and those who were before us survived, and even with us, we can get over this one. 2, nothing is permanent. This too will pass. I know at a time when you are going through it, it feels like it's forever. For us in South Africa, it's a little over 100 days. And quite frankly, we need to acknowledge ourselves to say, if we had been asked in 2019 that for 3 months, you won't be going to the office, you'll be working from home, we would have thought, you are crazy. And now we've already done the crazy. So the journey that we've traveled already indicates that we can do it. And then to your point earlier, Jessica, of collaboration, don't try to do it alone. Connected with the community, friends, family, partners, and all other connections, sharing the load will make it easier and for us to achieve success.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time, Thulani.
Thank you, Jessica, and to everyone.